the return of Gervonta Davis as he takes on the ghost Frank Martin. We are going to get the very best Gervonta Davis we've ever seen.
People love going to watch knockout artists. Any second of the fight, Gervonta Davis might knock out his opponent.
KSI announced his return 2v1. The Hitman Slim and Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor.
I'm actually not a big fan of it. Anthony Taylor, he's not a very fan favorite type of fighter.
Adrien Broner, about billions, took on Blair the Flair, and people were saying he got his tooth knocked out. Ryan Garcia recently arrested in LA for vandalizing.
You already know he's gonna blame it on the Matrix, a conspiracy against him. They don't want him to speak.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. In today's episode, we'll be going over the KSI 2v1 challenge against Slim and Anthony Taylor, as well as giving our official predictions on Gervonta Davis as he takes on Frank Martin, and also the return of Subriel Matias as he takes on Liam Paro. But before we dive into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe, as well as follow us on all forms of social media. And lastly, don't forget to join our Discord. Everything is down in the description below. But diving into the episode right now, let us, do a little different. Let's start with influencer first for this one. Okay. We're switching it up here. But we had some big news in the influencer scene this past weekend. KSI announced his return to the ring after a long couple months of hiatus from boxing since his defeat to Tommy Fury. And we were speculating, not only us, but the internet as well, was speculating his opponent, his rumored opponent. And the strongest one was Amir Khan. Turns out it's not going to be Amir Khan, but it's going to be a 2v1. He officially called out the Hitman Slim and also Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. First off, what are you guys' thoughts about the whole concept of a 2v1, no rules or survival, whatever he's doing? What's that?
Well, with the concept, I'm actually not a big fan of it. I mean, since Misfits started the 2v1 activity, like I really didn't like it from the start, and I was so surprised that they're continuing to do it, because I mean, I guess I think it's more of an entertainment type of activity. Like it's not really boxing. It's just more like he's fighting two opponents at once. Oh my gosh. So it's kind of got a shock factor to it. But I don't know. I'm not a very big fan of it. Even the opponents, I'm not a very big fan of, Slim and Anthony Taylor. So I feel this is a step back for KSI. I think it kind of shows that his confidence wasn't really there after the Tommy Fury fight. So I'm interested to see it, but me personally, I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, just for me, in my personal opinion, I have expressed my feelings towards the whole concept of 2v1, and I don't really like it. That's what you said. I see it more as an entertaining thing, more like a sideshow, more like maybe even like a little circus show, really. Because what is this, 2 against 1? And I'm not really. Well, I am really interested to see him fight Slim, but not in a 2 against 1 match. So yeah. Well,
yeah, that's the thing. I don't even know the weight, because I mean, if you look at Slim, he used to fight like at 175 or whatever, and he was fighting big dudes, and he himself said he kind of struggled in that aspect, so that's why he dropped down to 168 or whatever weight he's fighting in now. So in KSI, he's fighting at 180s. So what's the official weight gonna be?
Slim is gonna go up to whatever weight he wants, whatever weight KSI wants, because he wants that money fight. Dude, I mean, he's been asking for it for how long? Like 2 years?
Couple years now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Slim is, I mean, he's going to do whatever it takes to make this fight happen. He's been calling KSI out for forever. So even Anthony Taylor, which is a bit closer in the weight class, but I feel like both of these guys, I mean, they've been itching for a fight with KSI, not because of they want to improve their boxing career, but because it's the money fight. It's the biggest name in the Misfits card. So
damn. So yeah, exactly. But like, here's the thing, man. People, there was it was kind of a little divided. More people were favoring, people did like the concept. I don't know why. Because like you said, I do not like the 2v1. Because like, okay, let's say it's fight day. They're both in the ring. Fucking the fight starts, right? Or all three of them are in the ring and the fight starts. Slim himself already said that he's not going to tag out. And Anthony Taylor said that the same thing, that they're both not going to tag out. They're going to stay in there and fight like a 1v1. Like, they are not going to tag out. Second thing, if KSI sparks one of them out, I think the rules state that the fight is over.
It's over, yeah.
So like, if Anthony Taylor gets sparked out in the first, the fight is over.
Yeah.
So therefore, where the fuck is the hype?
What's the point of the 2v1?
Slim trained all that time just to not even do anything if that happens, and vice versa. You know, I assume Mams Taylor and the entire team is gonna try to shift the rules a bit for that, but I don't know. Oh, I think I expressed my thoughts about this on X, on Twitter, and I said it. I said this fight is going to be a mess. I think it's going to be a mess. And I'm already calling it right now. I'm not a big fan of it. If anything, if he was going to fight two opponents like he's doing with Anthony Taylor and Slim, I prefer like two fights in one night, similar to what he did in the first event. You know, in the beginning of the show, he fights Anthony Taylor, and then at the end of the show, he fights Slim.
I feel like that would be even better because that way at least it's a 1v1. The 2v1 concept is just kind of dumb, man. It's been dumb since the beginning. It's overplayed. Also, I think that's interesting. Yeah, I don't even like the style matchup really. We got Anthony Taylor, who, I mean, he's a journeyman. You know, he's a veteran. He has some experience in the ring. He does what it takes to win, but he's a very boring fighter.
He doesn't put on a show.
No, absolutely not. He's not a very fan favorite type of fighter, right? Like, he beat Saul Poppy, who was the hype train, and then nothing really happened to his career. Why? Because, I mean, first of all, he's annoying. But even on top of that, his fight style really isn't that entertaining, and it's hard to really sell him. So if he fights KSI, I mean, KSI himself has an awkward style. I don't think the styles are going to really mix that well.
They're going to be clashing a lot, I think.
Absolutely. And I feel like just the fight is just going to be very messy. It's going to be it's not going to be fun to watch. I think for Slim, it might be a bit more interesting because Slim is going to go in there and try to knock KSI's head off, which is, I mean, at least you got to pay him respect for that.
But like Slim also, he's I mean, you look at his last fight against Salt Poppy. The atmosphere, the event got to him. You could tell, and earlier, it took him like to 4 rounds even to even show up to the building during the fight. And then when he showed out, he showed out. But regardless, we're talking about KSI, like you said, the biggest name in the influencer or misfit scene. Slim is gonna be shitting bricks. I'm gonna tell you right now. I like Slim. I became a fan of him after his fight against Face Temper. But I think personally, I mean, first off, the weight is going to be huge. It's going to be the biggest factor that's going to play a role in the fight between him and KSI. He still has the power to drop heavier fighters because he's shown it against Ryan Taylor. He showed it against Face Temper. He's been fighting big guys and he's still dropping them. So he does have legitimate power. My only issue is that he's not very technical. Like, if you look at all his fights, they're always kind of messy. And he always just finds that way to land that right hand, and he's able to drop his opponents. KSI is not better technically, but at least he does bring something else to the table other than Slim, who relies really heavily on his power, and he's not, the most it's not the most beautiful boxing that he displays out in the ring.
Yeah, I think KSI, at least he's explosive.
Yeah, he's got that to his arsenal. So
yeah, Slim isn't really that explosive. He isn't that quick, that athletic. I guess maybe KSI really isn't that athletic either. He fights kind of weird, but I just think I don't know, it does look a bit better than Slim, where Slim just relies mainly on his power and his technique. Like, it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, I think his technique, compared to, because he's considered one of the top dogs, also Slim. But like, if you're gonna be a top dog, you also gotta be somewhat of a decent boxer. His IQ isn't there, in my opinion. But I mean, at least he got the fight, right? I mean, he's been calling it for like 2 years now. The thing that made me laugh though was because KSI dropped that like 2-minute videos. He pointed out a bunch of things in that video, but when he called out Slim and Anthony Taylor, he specifically told them, "Hey, you have 24 hours to respond."
No way.
Literally 10 minutes after the video dropped, both of them already accepted. Like, it's a no-brainer. They're gonna say yes.
Of course, man. This is why I feel like it's a step words back for KSI, because I mean, these guys have been literally gunning for KSI for like years now, because it's gonna make it's a payday. It's gonna make their career. You know what I'm saying? It's a very big show. So it's like, I don't know why KSI is acting like you have 24 hours to respond. Buddy, they would have responded any day of the week. Twice on a Sunday. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the thing. Also, you brought up a point saying to step back for KSI, and I completely agree with you because, I mean, people, let's look at Jake Paul. People are always quick to ridicule him about his opponents, yada yada. He's fighting old fighters and this and that, and or even like a Ryan Borland or Andre August type of fighter. But I mean, at least he's fighting those guys, man. I'm telling you right now, if you look at KSI's resume, it's not the best, man. I mean, he beat Joe Weller, he beat Logan Paul, drew against him once, and then beat him the second time. But besides Logan Paul, he has no big name, and even then Logan Paul is not even a big name to begin with. They give a lot of
credit to him,
a lot of credit to KSI for beating Logan Paul because I mean Logan Paul is the athlete, you know. KSI was the big underdog going
pretty much just
fight.
because he's in shape.
Exactly. Like the figure, you know, the persona, he's always a big guy, so therefore, you know, he's it gives him some type of credit that I'm just like, I think it's a bit crazy to the point where KSI hasn't even like overstepped that plate, you know, because then he fought Panetta, he fought Swarms,
Temper,
he fought Temper, who was coming off a KO loss to Slim. He fought that one millionaire dude,
the DJ, right?
Joe?
Fournier.
Fournier,
Yes.
yeah.
He fought Fournier. If he would have won legitimately, I think that would have been that would have been his best. I think that would be his
KO victory.
It would have been the best name in his resume.
But then he elbowed him.
But then he elbowed him, so then that didn't count.
It's the biggest meme of his career.
Yeah.
And then he fought Tommy Fury, and then he lost against Tommy Fury. So, and now he's back to fighting Slim and Anthony Taylor. I'm telling you, his resume is not looking good. Of course, KSI is not really he's not really too focused on, you know, making a legacy in boxing or whatever. It's more like a kind of like a side hustle for him at this point, and it's one of his more lucrative side hustles that he has. But I mean, if you're gonna call out Jake Paul on his opponents, then I mean, you gotta make sure that you're preaching the truth, or you're what's the fucking? I already fucked up, bro. What's the term, bro? What's the term?
It's almost like one finger is pointing to the other person, but you have three pointing back at you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta back up with your talk, man. Like you can't be shitting on him when your opponents are shit too.
Yeah, that's the thing about KSI is the fact that he believes he's like the A side. He believes he's, you know, a lot better than Jake Paul, and you know, a lot of his fanboys also are on his side. They're saying, "Oh, Jake Paul, you know, he's nothing. Jake Paul, it's all KSI. He's all scared. Jake is scared of KSI." The thing is, yeah, you can hate on Jake's career. Obviously, he's had some very suspicious names that he's fought on his resume. There's no doubt about that.
Nate Robinson,
you know, Ben Askren. Like, these are obvious names that are like, okay, come on, let's be honest here. But he's also fought, I mean, like Tyron Woodley. And if you're going to shit on Tyron Woodley, ask yourself this. Would Tyron Woodley beat Panetta? Would he beat Swarms? Would he beat Face Temper? He'd beat all these guys. So, yes, he's still very low. I don't give Jake Paul that much credit, especially considering the fact that Jake is a lot bigger than Tyron Woodley. But if you put it in comparison with KSI's resume and the opponents that he's fought, it's very clear that Jake Paul has fought a lot better resumes. He's actually trying to build a semi-respectable resume of opponents that he's faced. So, I mean, don't even bring up. I hate that KSI brings this up, like as a matter of fact, that Jake is scared of him and he's fought nobody. It's like, KSI, you fought nobody.
Yeah.
Who have you fought?
former obese rapper Swarms, bro.
Like, what the hell? Swarms is like, come on, let's be honest
and
here.
Swarms was a last minute replacement too. Like,
and he was shitting bricks. He was so scared when going out there.
Bro, at least he didn't pull a most wanted. Bro.
You know what I'm saying? At least you gotta give him some dap in there.
Exactly.
I would say 5 years ago, if you would have asked me who would win between KSI and Jake Paul, I would have said KSI. Fast forward to now, I might be saying now it could be Jake, just because of the level of opposition that he's been fighting.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's been fighting more frequently as well.
Because before, we didn't know. I mean, they were both similar levels. They both fought in, like, you know, YouTubers. Jake had fought like Nate Robinson, but you can't give him credit for that 160-pounder. That's like 5'8".
He fought Gibb too.
NBA, and then Gibb as well.
He's a basketball player too.
He's a basketball player. Like, yeah, you couldn't really give him credit for those wins. So we didn't know how good Jake was. But if you fast forward 5 years, you see Jake has improved a lot. You can see he's disciplined. You can see he's in the gym. So, and he's fought higher level opponents than someone like KSI. I think you do have to give it to Jake Paul. I think he would. You have to give him the respect and say that, yeah, I think he would beat KSI, and I think he's the best YouTuber turned boxer in the whole space.
Yeah, I think so easily. Yeah. But if KSI just needs that one big name in his resume, and I think you can see the tight switch. I mean, if he would have been Tommy Fury, there has been no debate that KSI is the number one guy, right? Because I mean, the common opponent Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul and then beat KSI. Also, speaking about Tommy Fury, about that fight, people always who did better against Tommy Fury, KSI or Jake Paul?
It's hard to say
because the KSI fight. The KSI Fury fight was just messy.
That's the thing.
It was very hard to score because it was a boring fight. It was a very boring fight, very messy. It just made it so difficult to score because no one was really even landing a big shot. You know, they just clinch, break apart, bounce around, clinch, break apart, and then repeat. It was a cycle like that. Whereas Jake Paul, you know, he did lose that fight. I saw him lose. I remember watching it live. But, I mean, he dropped Tommy, and he actually was trying to box with Tommy Fury, even though, and that's what, you know, KSI, I guess, did a good job in not letting Tommy Fury fight his fight. But then that in turn didn't allow KSI to fight his own fight. So, I mean, what was the point of him doing that?
Yeah, like with the KSI fight, yeah, it was so messy. So you can't, I guess, to answer the question, who had the better fight? I'd say KSI, just because of the fact that how messy it was. It was a clinch war. It was like hitting behind the head in the clinch. Like, it was that. Like, it wasn't really, there was no substance to the fight. At least Jake Paul was in there to, you know what I'm saying, try to impose his style against Tommy Fury. And Tommy Fury showed he was the more skilled fighter and imposed Tommy Fury style. And he got the victory. Yeah, it was clear he got the victory. So I think, yeah, if you compare it like that, I'd say KSI, but just because of the fact that it was just such a disgusting fight. Like, it was a horrible fight to watch.
Yeah, I would say KSI too, because I mean, the fight was so close, it was kind of hard to score. And I think if you look at it from that aspect, he lost less rounds. I feel like when Jake fought Tommy, I feel like the only round he really won was the one that he dropped Tommy, and then after that he just kind of lost the other ones.
Yeah. Well, that was the last round too that he dropped him. Dropped with a jab. How much power does Jake Paul have?
That is the question, right?
How much power does he have, bro? So that's also another thing in the video that he spoke about, because he addressed the Jake Paul situation. He said, "Oh, Jake Paul, this is my final offer to you. 185." We can fight in the USA in May of 2025. And that was his final offer towards Jake Paul. And then after the video dropped, Jake Paul is most valuable, and also some people connected to Jake Paul, shared their thoughts about it. Someone said that Jake Paul's schedule, he's booked for May, but he's open in February. And Mams Taylor commented saying, then let's make it happen in February. Like, let's work. So the thing is, here's the big question. If KSI, I mean, first off, they always say, like, my final offer, and then they've
said that like
multiple times already. Yeah. Anyways, let's pretend.
And then they get 3 other final offers.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, okay, but hypothetically, let's pretend this is the final offer. He's actually being legit and serious about this one. And now that Jake Paul knows that, okay, well, we know now that May is booked for Jake Paul, but he's open February, and Mams Taylor's open and willing to negotiate for February. If Jake Paul doesn't accept, is that confirmed Jake Paul the biggest duck in influencer scene?
So you're saying if Jake Paul, if he's open in February and that fight isn't made, he's ducking him? I mean,
because KSI gave him, he was like, we can find the USA.
He gave him, pretty much he's conceding grounds in, like, negotiation, trying to make the fight happen, right? Yeah. Well, there's 2 things to this. First thing, we have to get, they both have to win their fights. So that's the first thing. If, let's say Jake Paul fights Mike Tyson, which is rescheduled now. If he fights Mike Tyson and he loses, it's very unlikely that he's going to go and fight KSI in February.
Yeah.
So that's the first, and also vice versa as well. If KSI loses against Slim and Anthony Taylor, which I think is a little bit more unlikely, but if it happens, I doubt KSI would fight Jake in February. So it both depends on the outcome of their next fights, right? Because they're both booked for the later part of this year. But if Jake Paul is open to fighting in February and he doesn't, then that would raise a lot of eyebrows, I think. Because I mean, for Jake Paul, he's put himself in a box where he has to fight KSI. They've been talking back and forth for like 5 years. You know, you can't mention Jake Paul's boxing career without mentioning, but KSI, he hasn't fought KSI. It's going to be a stain in his career if he doesn't fight him. So I think the fans want it. I think just for him to just completely destroy that timeline, or destroy the argument, the conversation of KSI, you never fought KSI. Okay, I'm gonna fight KSI in February because I got the time. I'm gonna whoop his ass at 185, and then I'm gonna continue with my boxing career. And it'd be a big money fight too, which is what Jake also likes. So I think it really makes sense. And if he doesn't do it, then yeah, I'd be like, it'd raise some eyebrows, and I'd be suspicious of Jake Paul. You might have to start calling him a duck, honestly.
Yeah, because they're both fighting around the same time later this year, correct?
Yeah, supposedly KSI fighting in August, Jake Paul fighting in November, and KSI said he maybe have a fight later, like at the end of the year. So yeah,
I mean, I don't see why Jake couldn't fight KSI in May. Like, who's he fighting in May? Like, who's a bigger name? Who's a bigger attraction than KSI?
Connor.
Yeah, God. I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't see why they couldn't do it in May. Like, why not switch it with May? You know, switch whatever opponent he had in store.
That is true. Yeah, it got to be a big opponent if he's not if he's not willing to comply with fighting in May. But I mean, at least February is open now. Everyone knows that February is open for Jake Paul. But I mean, there are factors. You know, like you said, they both got to win their next fight, and after that, I mean, hopefully they do it. Am I am I really hopeful? Not really, because it always happens, and we said it last podcast, and I'll say it again. They've been literally calling each other out for like 7, 8 years, whatever, since the initiation of influencer boxing. So this shit is over marinated. It's like the Pacquiao and Mayweather. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up. I mean, this fight is it's still very unlikely. We're still very far away from even making this fight a reality. So don't get your hopes up that this fight's going to happen in February or May.
But what we do have is the return of KSI, 2v1, pretty much official at this point. I mean, both of them accepted within, like I said, the first 10 minutes of the video dropping. Anthony Taylor was very happy. He was like, I manifested this and whatever. Slim was like, I'm not going to tag you in, brother. On this and that. So let's see, August 31st, I believe, over in London for the next Misfits return of KSI. So I guess we have the ends of summer to see the return of KSI back in the ring. And then hopefully, if he wins these two fights, then maybe see him fight Amir Khan in December. But hey, at least I called it, bro. In August, he was gonna return in August. Hey man, I called it.
I'm just glad that he's not fighting Amir Khan. I don't know who Amir Khan is fighting then if he's training.
He's probably training until for December or November.
Or he's training just to train. Yeah, he's just trying to stay active, you know.
He did say fight news coming soon.
I don't know about that point. But so that was I guess the biggest news and influencer, the return of KSI this past weekend. So we have that to look forward to. But now let's switch gears back to traditional boxing. I want to briefly talk about Adrien Broner, about billions. This past weekend he took on Blair Cobbs and on the Don King promotion. And when you fight on Don King promotion, you're guaranteed bad quality in the video, man. For real. It's a terrible quality. Anyways, Adrien Broner showed that, I mean, he's not the same guy. He hasn't been the same guy since like years now. I saw people saying like, "Oh, this is the end of Adrien Broner." It's been over for him for years now. What are you guys on? Last year he fought against that lawyer, dude. He wasn't able to stop him, but he went all rounds within 10 rounds. Now he took on Blair, and people were saying he got his tooth knocked out.
that's what the hype was about when in the second round, Blair the Flare Cobbs landed a beautiful left hand right on the button on Adrien Broner. He sat his ass on the canvas, and it looked like Broner was like, he dropped his mouth guard, and it also looked like he was also, you know, kind of scared or suspicious about something. People were speculating that he knocked his tooth out.
I mean, I feel like there could be some truth to it because then afterwards, his mouthpiece kept falling out of his mouth like 5-7 times after that.
No, yeah, it was constant that he was falling. It was kind of crazy. I thought he was maybe breathing from his mouth, but it could also be maybe some tooth or something. Maybe it wasn't comfortable in his mouth with an exposed gum.
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that was the big thing. Also, Adrien Broner getting dropped. I mean. Yeah. He doesn't get dropped like that.
No.
So that was the crazy thing, seeing Broner get dropped again. I mean, Maidana's the only guy who's dropped him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I believe so. And that's crazy. I mean, Broner's fought heavy-handed opponents, and he hasn't been dropped. He's got a good chin on him, too.
This is one thing, yeah, when we were watching the fight, I was actually very skeptical that Blair Cobbs was going to be able to stop Adrien Broner because no one has been able to stop Adrien Broner. I mean, this guy is... Somehow he's built of steel or something, man.
Yeah.
His chin is really good. He does a good job of at least keeping his hands up most of the time. You know, sometimes, especially at his old age, punches do start slipping in, and that's why he got dropped. But in general, he does have a good habit of at least, you know, staying in the high guard. So that's good. But he has a good chin. I'm surprised that not a lot of people actually give him credit for that. Like this guy, you know, he has a good chin. He's fought power punches like Maidana, and Maidana in his prime wasn't able to stop him. That's got to tell you something about what he's made of.
Yeah, that man. Very surprised that he got dropped, but I mean, he lost like every single round besides that, regardless. So I mean, it didn't even matter. But I mean, the big story about Adrien Broner is just that I mean, he has the same problem that he's had for many years. He doesn't let his hands go. I mean, he's way too hesitant. And yeah, he has not been that guy for many years now. And you know, I saw a tweet saying we know where we're gonna see Broner next, and it's like the Misfits logo.
Oh no! Imagine.
So KSI versus Adrien Broner coming soon, December.
No, you know one thing as well that I didn't like about this fight is that Adrien Broner came in with a big old gut. Like that boy was. It looked like he was not or maybe he was training, but his diet was awful because he came in. His stomach was bloated. He looked bloated. He looked big. I was immediately when I saw that, I was like, okay, we're gonna get already. Broner isn't fighting at his prime, but we're gonna get an even worse Broner because he's not even dieting. He's not even training as he should be. So.
Well, it showed that maybe he wasn't training that hard, and Blair the Flare got that win, and I mean, now he opens himself up to other fights at 147. People are saying, oh, maybe we can put him up against Boots Ennis, because Boots Ennis is currently looking for an opponent after the pullout from Cowley, based on he couldn't pass his medical, so so now we're just waiting on that. But besides that, yes, Blair the Flare defeated AB, all about billions. And all about the bodies, right? Because he confessed to like on the press
murder.
Yeah, and
what the hell was? I don't know what he was doing in those press conferences,
people were going crazy about that. But Adrien Broner returned, very lackluster type of performance. So I mean, it's what I kind of expected. But I mean, another thing I kind of want to touch on before we switch gears is Ryan Garcia was recently in trouble with the law, man. Supposedly he got arrested in LA for vandalizing. What was the actual charge?
It was some word vandalism.
Yeah. Regardless, I think at hotel. Was it the Beverly Hills? I'm not sure what hotel. Regardless, but yeah, he was arrested. I saw the clip. I was like, what is going on right now?
You already know he's gonna blame it on like they're trying to set him up. There's
the Matrix, bro.
There's a Matrix. There's conspiracy against him. You know, they don't want him to speak.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Ryan at this point. I mean, he
and apparently I think the damages were up to like $15,000.
$15,000? Oh, that is a good amount.
I don't know what he was doing, bro. What was the man doing? We're talking about Ryan Garcia, the prophet. He prophesied back in April that on June, I think 6th or 7th, LA was gonna get hit by a big earthquake,
and did it?
And I mean, there was earthquakes, but that's
it was a small
common.
one. It
That's
was a
so
small
common.
one, yeah.
No, but that's common in LA. I mean, it's like an everyday thing. So like, people are like, bro. But yeah, I guess that was a little. Ryan Garcia is always in the spotlight, doing something crazy, you know, or saying something outlandish, or being just very active on social media. But I mean, supposedly he's already released.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's released, but he himself tweeted earlier saying how he's being forced to like take medicine or something like that.
I don't think you can get forced to take medicine.
That's what he said, man. He tweeted out.
Maybe you could get prescribed the medicine, but I don't think they're gonna
Force
pick
him.
it up and open your mouth.
Here comes a plane.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Baby fed.
Yeah, the thing is though, yeah, this is what he's looking at. What he's facing is felonies. This is a felony charge, vandalism. So it's not looking that good for him, man. I don't know what he was doing. I want to listen. I want to hear his side of the story, because I already know it's gonna be so fucking interesting. He's gonna say some crazy, outlandish stuff. So I'm looking forward to his side of the story, but I want to know, what the hell he was doing, because supposedly he was like fucking up some shit in his room and also in the hallway of the hotel, something like this. I don't know.
He must have been drunk or something.
Yeah, not a lot of details have come out, which is, I think, is also kind of another interesting factor, where, you know, the police report haven't really said nothing, just that he got arrested, felony charge, this and that. Very ambiguous.
Well, that was the little spiel that Ryan Garcia had this past weekend. And a lot of people were very quick on social media to be vocal about it. And I mean, it's Ryan Garcia. He's already a very polarizing figure. So, I mean, if he wants to get the attention and his name in the headlights, then he's doing whatever it takes, right? At that point. But screw all this stuff. Let's give our official predictions, guys. This upcoming weekend, actually, we have the return of Gervonta Davis, the tank, as he takes on the ghost Frank Martin. And I mean, I'm you know, when it comes to fights like these, you know, if it's like a couple months away, you're like, oh, it's coming up or whatever, I can wait on it. But now that you get closer to it, you kind of start feeling the feel, and you're like, yeah, like he's almost here, here. And now we are a week away, or 6 days away from the official fight, and I'm very excited for it. I think we are going to get the very best Gervonta Davis we've ever seen. I'm already calling it right now. And which is why I'm giving my official prediction. Gervonta Davis stops Frank Martin 6th, 7th, or 8th round.
Ooh, okay.
I'm calling it.
Very, very bold statement. I think for Gervonta Davis, I'm super happy that he's getting back into the ring. It's been, I think, 14 months, if I'm not mistaken, since he's last entered the ring against Ryan Garcia. And then, you know, he's had house arrest. He's been in jail. He got released. All this type of bullshit, you know, that he's gone through. He hasn't been in the ring for a very long time. So that's the only thing that's... hopefully that doesn't play a big factor into this fight. Because hopefully Gervonta Davis is still taking this seriously. You know, I think early in his career, he'd like blow up in between fights, but get really fat and not work out a lot, probably drinking, smoking, all this type of stuff, you know, having fun with his life. The problem was, you know, that's not very sustainable long term. And it looked like actually he was changing ways. It looked like, you know, he was actually putting in a lot of work. He turned into a more disciplined fighter, and I thought that was very interesting. I liked that about him. So I want to see this fight. Yeah, I'm very interested in this fight because this is no easy step. I mean, Frank Martin, the Ghost, is the real deal. This is a very high-level opponent that knows what he's doing, a very confident opponent that isn't just going to go into the ring and roll over against Tank Davis. So I'm very interested to see how Gervonta Davis does in this fight. My official prediction, I'm still sold on Gervonta Davis. I still think he's going to win by... I still think he's going to stop Frank Martin. Yeah, I think it's going to be in the later rounds, and I think it's going to take him a while. I think, you know, the early rounds are going to be very competitive because Frank Martin is just one of those guys. But Tank Davis is going to download the data. He's going to download the data. He's going to get the range, and then he's just going to land one of those killer one-punch knockouts.
Well, I guess I am the only odd one out. I'm going to go with Frank Martin by decision. Look, here's the thing. I was very surprised when Tank actually sent over their contract to fight Frank Martin. You know, Frank Martin was a guy who I think he's really regarded as someone who a lot of people have looked over him Not a lot of people know much about him. He started really late in life boxing, actually, but he's a guy who's made up for it for lost time. This dude is very athletic, and I think he also has a very high ring IQ for someone who doesn't have that experience as someone like Gervonta Davis. So he's been slowly, but most importantly, been quietly climbing up the ranks, and so he's finally earned an opportunity to fight for a world championship. Gervonta Davis has been out of the ring for a very long time. He's still in his prime. I don't think it should play too much of a factor, but I think just some of the other things that he's been dealing with his personal life, like being arrested, house arrest, and stuff like that. I think that may catch up to him. I think that may play a factor. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think Frank Martin might pull the upset.
Yeah, I think that's true. A lot of people do sleep on Frank Martin. It's because he's not very fan friendly. He's not very. He doesn't sell that good with his voice, with his mouth.
His brand.
Yeah. So I feel like he kind of struggles to get fans. Therefore, he's a very skilled fighter. But a lot of these top guys at 135, they look past him because it's like, okay, it's a high risk fight. I'm gonna have to train really hard. This guy, he's confident. He knows what he's doing in the ring. But this is gonna be like a very small fight. Like Frank Martin doesn't bring his own entourage. He doesn't bring his own crowd, his fans. So that's the one thing. Yeah, I think Frank Martin. Not a lot of people know that much about him, and he's the real deal, though. He's a good fighter. But his last fight, he didn't look that good. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, he struggled. He struggled a lot against. I don't even know how to say his last name, but I remember watching. We were in Colorado. Watching that fight. I think we were in Colorado, right? During that time. Yeah. We're in Colorado watching that fight, and I was like, "Damn, Frank Martin, look, he kind of losing this fight right now." But he was able to drop him in the last round, and he won by UD. And that drop, that
saved him.
Saved
that's
him.
all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters at the end. But yeah, it was a very big step back for Frank Martin in terms of showcasing. He himself said he didn't feel sharp. So I agree with you. We are going to see the very best Frank Martin as well. But I just think Gervonta Davis has that extra gear, and I think he's just levels at this point. And I think Gervonta Davis is just gonna be too much for Frank Martin. And like I said, I'm very firm on my prediction: 6th, 7th, or 8th round, Gervonta Davis is gonna get him out of there.
Yeah, this is one thing. Like when we say, "Oh, I think Gervonta Davis is gonna stop Frank Martin," that's not saying Frank Martin isn't good.
Yeah,
that's saying Frank Martin is a good fighter. But I just think Gervonta Davis is that good of a fighter. I think he's one of the elites right now. He has so much potential in his career. He's still in his 20s, like 29, right? 29, something like that. So he still has a lot of potential. I think he's one of the top guys right now in boxing. Pound for pound, probably one of the hardest hitters also. So, I just have so much faith in Gervonta Davis. It's not that I don't have faith in Frank Martin. I just hold Gervonta Davis to such a high degree to I think he might get the stoppage.
Yeah, and plus I feel like every time he fights, it's always a spectacle. So not only does he come in and perform really well, but he entertains the people. He's able to get the casuals to come in. He sells out wherever he goes. He sells it out. And plus, I believe the ticket prices are also pretty expensive to go watch him fight. So that's another added thing for him.
Yeah, because people love going to watch knockout artists. And Gervonta Davis is one of the best ones out there, man. If you look at a fight, even Rolly Romero, what is it, 6 rounds? It was, it was kind of slow paced. Rolly was going forward. Gervonta Davis was downloading data. Out of nowhere, bang, just hits him with a left hand and knocks him out clean. That's the type of excitement you get when you go to a Gervonta Davis fight. Any second of the fight, Gervonta Davis might knock out his opponent. So that's why he's such a big superstar in the gate. Pay-per-view, maybe you can give an argument to say he isn't a pay-per-view star.
Yeah, he is. I think he is, but
I think he might. But some people, the haters,
he's on his way. I think
he's on his way.
Sure.
Like he's definitely growing. I think he gets if he fights some random guy, he gets 200K, 300K, which is good. Yeah, it's a solid, figure. But in the gate is where you really see how big this guy is. He sells out arenas. He sells out arenas like crazy. So high hopes for him this weekend. Hopefully he gets the job done.
You know who else is gonna get the job done though? Subriel Matias, because not only do we have PBC and Prime showcasing Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, we have Matchroom Boxing and The Zone featuring 140 champion Subriel Matias as he takes on undefeated Australian Liam Paro. You know, I think this channel, we do a lot of Matias. We talk about him. There's
do a lot of
Matias. Here's the thing, man. I hate me for it, but I love Subriel Matias. I think he is the best 140-pound champion in the world, and I stand by that. I'm a big fan of his style. I'm a big fan of the man. So, I mean, my prediction, I think he's going to, this upcoming weekend, he defends his IBF, and I think he's just going to absolutely destroy Liam Paro. I'm just going to say right now, he's going to destroy him. Liam Paro, though, he's coming off his best win against Montana Love. You know, he dropped him twice and then stopped him in that same round. I think it was the 6th, I believe. Yeah, he stopped him in 6. So, Liam Paro, he is a real deal. This thing, I think he's going to be competitive early on because that's how Matias kind of is. You know, he kind of starts a bit slow.
Yeah.
And if Liam Paro is able to bounce on him quick and inflict a lot of damage, then maybe we can see some type of adversity for Matias in the later rounds. But I just think Matías is just that guy, man. He not only does he have a good chin on him, but he hits like a bull, man. And I'm telling you right now, he's gonna stop. He's gonna stop Liam Paro, and I'm expecting a Subriel Matias highlight reel KO coming up.
Yeah, this is one thing about Matías. It's his debut at Matchroom at the Zone. You know, so Eddie Hearn has been promoting him a good amount, actually, and which is a good thing because Matías is another fighter that is kind of slept on at the 140. He doesn't have as many fans as I feel he should, especially considering the fact that a knockout artist. So I'm hoping he does really good in this fight because it's kind of a come out fight for him. I think a lot more people are going to be watching this fight, and I think Eddie Hearn has a good grasp on how to build knockout artists or pretty much any fighter into a superstar. So I'm hoping he does good, and I do think he's going to do good. Paro, I mean, he's a solid opponent. Montana Love, that's a solid name on the resume. But we're talking about Subriel Matias, one of the elites at the 140 division. You know what I'm saying? This is no walk in the park. So I'm expecting Matias to, you know, in the early rounds, yeah, it might be competitive, but he's definitely going to get his engine running, and there's nothing that Paro is going to be able to do to stop him.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I love Matias. You know, I believe Matias is the top dog at 140. I think he's the champion to beat. All the other champions are very much afraid of him. No one wants to fight him, and I think there's a reason why. But I really think it's very interesting the level of opposition that they decided to get for him for his pro debut, for his debut with Matchroom. I think Liam Paro is a very solid guy. He is undefeated, and he hits pretty hard too. I'm gonna go for Matias, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna struggle against Liam. I don't think he's gonna get the stoppage. I think he's gonna struggle and get a decision victory.
Interesting. I mean, does he have 100%? He has 100%.
He does have 100%.
Every win has been KO.
The loss.
Yeah, but every win.
Every win.
Every win.
20-1 with 20 KOs.
Yeah.
So, and he avenged the loss with a KO. He absolutely destroyed him. But
so it's like, how are you gonna go into a Matias fight and like it's hard
and expect like you go into a Matias fight and are you really would you put money down on the decision? That's hard, man. I'm telling you,
he's going in there to knock his opponent's head off.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, this man. The thing about Matias, though, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Liam is a tall dude. No, I think he's a little bit taller than Subriel. I know he was taller than Montana Love. If I'm not mistaken,
5'8.5".
Montana Love he's like 5'6", 5'7".
Bro, he like us
5'8". So I mean, Matias is like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, Matias 5'8".
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like half an inch.
Oh, I thought he was a bit taller.
Oh, okay. I thought Liam was a lot taller than.
Nah, yeah, they're like around the same height regardless. But no, the thing about Matias, the thing doesn't. I mean, if you don't speak English sometimes in boxing or like even in sports. Well, actually, not in sport. I think more in combat sports. You kind of have, especially I think more in boxing. Actually, now that I say it, yeah, because Matias, he be funny. I mean, since we understand Spanish, he be funny. I mean, he's a very funny guy. So when I be seeing his promos calling like Rolly a chicken and everyone like that, he's funny dude. But I mean, it's very hard to express that in English because, I mean, he doesn't speak English.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, they don't give him a chance.
They don't,
They don't give him a chance because they're like, oh, he doesn't speak English, whatever. At least, you know, other combat sports, I think, namely the UFC, they do a great job promoting these guys that don't even speak English, and they can still have a very big fan base.
Yes.
For Matias, I think he has the potential to be a superstar.
He should.
Yeah.
Considering, I think he is charismatic. I think his style is fan friendly. And I think you're going to be entertained whether you watch him or not. Like, if you tune into a fight of Matias, you're going to be very entertained. So he has all the ingredients to make it really big, to have a lot of fans. I think these boxing promoters, like, they don't really even give him a chance. They don't promote him that much. That's why I think it was such a good move to go to Eddie Hearn, because he sees in the future. He sees what his fighter could be in the future if he plays his cards right. So with Eddie Hearn, he could turn him into a superstar. He can promote him really well.
If I'm not mistaken, he could probably turn him into the next Tito Trinidad.
Oh, because he's
Puerto Rican.
He's Puerto Rican. He's already a champion. If I'm not mistaken, Tito was already a champion by age 20, I think, or something like that, early 20s.
Then this is. Remember, we're watching the Zayas fight
yesterday.
Yeah, we're watching the Zayas fight, and we're saying we're trying to come up with ideas. We're like, who's the front runner for the next Tito Trinidad for the Puerto Ricans? And we were like, we couldn't really think of anything. But now that we mentioned it, obviously Subriel Matias.
Yes, man.
Come on, we just have to get his personality out there, and I think he can be a very big superstar.
Yeah. Does Alex Pereira from the UFC, he doesn't speak English, right?
No English.
Minimal.
So Matias,
all he says is Shama.
Yeah.
And he's a superstar. Like, what the fuck?
Matias just needs something like Shama, and then done and dusted.
And then it's done. He's
pay-per-view star right there. He's selling out arenas.
Dude, I swear.
He's a Shama of
He
the
used to have
boxing.
like a catchphrase or something.
Yeah. Yeah, the Shama one is so funny, man.
Shama. Like, that's what I'm saying. I think the UFC does a good job promoting these guys that don't even speak English, because they need the little boost because they don't speak English. Boxing, they don't give a fuck about. They don't give them a leg up or nothing, man. They don't aid them. I think Eddie Hearn will, though. So I think this is a fantastic move.
I feel like Eddie Hearn is always up there. Whether his fighter wins or loses, he's always up there. Depending if the fighter doesn't really do a good job of expressing himself within the business aspect or whatever, I think Eddie Hearn is always up there with the microphone to help his fighter.
Help his fighter, promote him on social medias, you know, give him a little promo. Do all these little small things that, like, end up having a snowball effect, and then you get the big payout.
Yeah. Well, Matias and Gervonta Davis both returned this weekend. Also, we have the return of David Benavidez too.
Oh yeah,
but like, I think we're on the wait, hold on, we're on yeah, I think he's
easy
gonna,
KO.
Yeah, easy. I think he's gonna absolutely whoop. Yeah. But I'm very excited for these two headliners though. I mean, we got two champions or two championship fights at this point, and I mean, a lot of doors open, or a lot of just more opportunity of big fights open up if both of Matias and Gervonta Davis win. I mean, Gervonta Davis could fight, you know, Shakur maybe sometime, or Matias could fight Teofimo Lopez, which Teofimo Lopez is ducking Subriel Matias.
Whoa.
He is ducking him.
Let's get one thing straight. Teofimo Lopez ducks nobody. He is the number one guy, 140. after that, not the Virgil Ortiz, Jermaine Ortiz fight, you can't even say that anymore without getting some shit on you.
Regardless, we have two championship fights this weekend. Very excited, and I'm just hoping I get both my predictions correct, man. But I think we covered everything for this episode. Let us know down below who wins this weekend, Gervonta Davis or Frank Martin, as well as giving us your prediction for Subriel Matias and Liam Paro. Also, tell us about what you guys think about the 2v1 KSI versus Slim and Anthony Taylor. Is it a good idea? Is it dumb? Circus show? Not a big fan of it, like us. Let us know down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, Twitter, and also on Instagram. So everything is down in the link in the description below. And lastly, follow us on Discord or join our Discord. We are trying to build something, guys, and we really need you guys to hop in and join and just talk with us boxing. But this was Pablo, and I am with Rudo and Asa, and we are the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.